Can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Support me on Patreon. Patreon.com/MTGBooks. Chapter 16, A Dreamed Man. Victory. From the heart of Yavimaya to the seas all around, there was victory in the forest. Elves filled the crowns, their songs twining in freshening wind. Sprites drifted in swarms so thick they seemed chandeliers lighting the wood. Druids strode ancient paths amid deep root bulbs. Their songs of joy were basso drones that reverberated through watery grottos. Beneath even them, in the volcanic caves of the Mori tumulus, Kavu lizards lay slumbering. They had gorged on Phyrexians and would be sated for years. Many Phyrexian had met their ends in the bellies of Kavus or the leviathans that swam the deep water tubes. Others had been blasted apart by druid spells or torn to ribbons by sprite pike swarms or blown open by elven arrows. Their remains even now were being scoured from the forest. Elves tended pyres that turned the last of the monsters to ash. Burning brands set fire to the rot that riddled Magnagoths. Black coils of smoke bore the stink of Phyrexian oil blood away from the canopy. Yavimaya would not lose all its taste of those creatures. Elves and sprites naturally purged what darkness they could, but the forest had knowingly taken some of the evil into itself. Yavimaya had gained sort of immunity. She bore the memory of Phyrexia and knew its weaknesses. The final battle for the forest had been waged by woodmen, the folk who had once been Phyrexian. They combined the fanatic power of their heritage with the patient strength of the forest, eternal defenders. Once the battles were done, woodmen clutched themselves against the vast boles of the forest. They lingered there, immobile for days or weeks. They breathed through leafy stomas and were nourished on sun and rain alone. Herds of arboreal goats passed them unknowing. Wood spiders attached webs to their knobby heads. Should another Phyrexian descend into the forest, though, the woodmen would awaken to slay. Victory. Multani breathed it in. He had often petitioned Gaia during this war, always receiving a silent but undeniable answer. Now was the time for praises, not petitions. Multani spread his mind down into the great tree where he knelt. His consciousness expanded. Individual identity gave way to collective soul. Each tree was a single muscle fiber, each vein a neuron and a vast, thankful thought. Before that thought was full-formed, though, an idea intruded. A perfect creature walked the land. He didn't walk Yavimaya, but another ancient forest across the sea. Llanowar. A perfect creature. His spirit had been forged in a great red furnace and was tempered in war. Never had Multani sensed such a creature. Not in all the billion creeping things in the forest. Here was a man, an elf, with the relentless perfection of a dream. But was he real?
Gaia, what is this walking vision?
Multani knew he was to be silent and still to sense this creature in Llanowar across the sea. Among the watchful blackthorns of Edura, this perfect one had first appeared. A month ago, he came into being out of mid-air, trailing the stink of Phyrexian spaces. Out of corruption, he was born incorruptible, tall with long silvery hair and numerous braids, steely eyes and steely armor. The elf was mantled in glistening oil and blood. Dust clove to him. He fell to his knees. The escape from his former prison had been desperate. Eladamri was his name, called the Corvecdal in wrath, a uniter among his own people. Behind him came a woman. She seemed to step around an invisible corner. She was born of the same dark womb as he, but was human. With hair of red flame and muscles corded over a lean frame, she was a child of Phyrexian furnaces. The elf had saved her from the hell where she had dwelt. Her name was Takara, prisoner of Volrath, daughter of Stark. To Eldamri's other side stood another woman. As weary as her comrades, she did not drop down. A war woman, she kept her weapon, a chain and blade construct called a Toten Vek, ready in the pulsing air. Her eyes and hair were dark, her face intense, her frame a taut coalition of muscle and bone. She too was an orphan raised in wrath. Wicked parents make monsters of some, and heroes of others. This one was a hero, Lynn Civi by name. She would guard her companions to death.
Gaia, these are not perfect folk. These are heroes, true, but not divinities. This Eladamri is no more pure than a Kavu, parented by leaf and flame in equal measure. This Takara is embittered by long imprisonment. This Lynn Civi, chains and blades are myriad already in Dominion. What makes these three divine?
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
He knew he was to keep silent and still and sense them. Up from Vidura, they marched. They sought forest, Llanowar. Travelers' tales told of them. In every village they entered, folk asked them where they'd been, how they'd come to Vidura. Eldamri told their story, simple and certain. He warned of the hellish kingdom to come, of demons pouring down out of storm clouds, and of cataclysm tearing Dominaria apart. At first, he seemed but a brain-baked fool, wandering in dust with two other lunatics. Then reports came of demons raining from the clouds over Benalia, Yavimaya, over Zulfir and Shiv and Keld. Villagers flocked to Eladamri. If this man had known of the coming monsters, surely he would know how to fight them. Eladamri did know. He told them what to do, how to make arrows that would pierce carapace skulls, how to mix glistening oil poisons, how to stab all the hearts of a vampire hound. People listened to every word. When he said he could not linger on the road to Llanowar, they heard that he had a messianic mission there. They followed him. They preceded him. Runners went ahead to the forest kingdoms, telling the glories of the elf who was coming, who had raised an army on the road and who would fight the monsters that came to destroy Llanowar. Fedasul, king of Staprion, sent steel-leaf warriors to intercept this man and his army. Savage-shorn and tattooed elves crouched at the forest eaves. Past Freyalesian eye patches, archers watched the man approach. Eladamri strode sternly. Sweat glinted on his brow, eyes sparked beneath. Takara lingered at his right hand, allowing petitioners one by one to approach the man. Lynn Civi lingered at his left, keeping back the rest of the crowd. The steel-leaf elves emerged from the forest to bar the way. They were immediately surrounded by the believing throng. That is enough to sway most men, but these were elves. In the name of King Fedasul, they demanded that Eladamri halt his human army and turn them back to Verdura. His followers took great exception. Eladamri himself did not. He said only this: "May you survive the coming plague." He turned to go. Steel Leaf did not allow it. They demanded in the name of the Staprian elf flame that Eldamri accompany them to see King Fedasul, but that he turn back his human army. Again, Eladamri's followers took exception. Again, Eladamri did not. He told his followers, "Go to defend your homes. I have an army of my own awaiting here." He gestured into the trees where steel-leaf warriors crowded in their multitude, peering through their stylized goggles. Just now, Multani senses traveled in the midst of the elf throng. They strode among colonnades of stately trees. They ascended spiral stairways that wound around trunks. Overhead, just beneath proud crowns of green, spread villages and cities of wood with conic towers and wide curving plazas, lookout posts and cozy huts. At their center stood the exalted palace of the Staprian chief.
I must go too, Gaia. I must see the savior of the elves.
Moving across the world was more difficult than moving through Yavimaya. At every edge of the forest, an ocean covered the land. Moltani leaped above the sparkling waves, riding on currents of pollen. The rarefied life of those tiny spores could barely hold him. It was a long leap to the nearest landfall. Below appeared a great jungle of kelp. Moltani swept down out of the pollen, skipping across the plants. Their leaves crowded atop the waves, 10 miles of salty respite before he surged again into pollens on the trade winds. Land appeared ahead, a black line too still to be water. Where there was land, there was green. In a mere thought, Moltani reached it. He plunging into clifftop woodlands as a child into a pile of leaves. This was not Llanowar. These woods were but scrub on the edge of fanned fields, windbreaks and no more. Still, Llanowar was not far. A patchwork of hickory and sumac led across the undulating fields. Moltani leapt through them. He moved with the quick surging motion of water. Beyond were redbud and alder, which led to turn to juniper and fir. Llanowar loomed on the horizon. Moltani was there in a moment. He breathed again. To be among these great trees, this root tangle and colonnade and crown, it was almost like his own Yavimaya. Magnagoth was replaced by Quosumik, Gaia by Freyalise, the volcanic Mori tumulus by the Dreaming Caves. But otherwise, this might have been Yavimaya. Except that Llanowar had a spirit of its own. Reserved, fine, reticent, the soul of Llanowar stared at Moltani through the leaves.
Forgive me, this intrusion, honored Molimo.
Why come you here, Moltani of Yavimaya?
Came a thought that was as much accusation as question. Circling through the bark of one great forest giant, Moltani could sense the angry heat in the hardwood.
I come to see this man, this Eladamri.
As with all outsiders, he is nothing.
Came the reply.
He is nothing, but Gaia makes something of him.
Said Moltani.
I come at her bidding.
It was only a slight exaggeration. At the name of Gaia, a troubled rumble came to the great mind of Molimo.
Freyalise rules Llanowar, not Gaia.
Gaia rules all Dominaria, even if your elves do not know it.
Moltani replied.
Freyalise is no goddess. She is but a plains...
Be quick then, Moltani. See what you must, do what you must, and leave.
Yes, Molimo, as you bid.
Smiling inwardly, Moltani continued on his way. Molimo would suffer his presence now because he had no other choice. He'd suffer it later when fiends started falling from the sky. In the time it had taken Moltani to scrip across the ocean, Eladamri and his entourage had nearly reached the treetops. There was no missing the path he had taken. Every fox shied from the trail of the throng. Every coney poked its wandering head out at them. Eladamri marched forward in the company of steel-leaf warriors and their sleek, shouldering hounds. Even now, they ascended to the palace of King Fedisul. Moltani coiled up through vast vines, some as fat as trees elsewhere. He surged to the high court of the Staprian Elfland. It was a glorious palace of white wood, grown through complex magics out of the crown of a Quosumik tree. The tree's boughs spread wide, an enormous hand holding aloft the palace. Foliage rioted across woodland murals and up tall towers with roofs of living thatch. Green pennants snapped among the leaves. Wide courtyards, hanging gardens, blooming bowers. It was a beautiful court in the treetops. Yavimaya had no such magically constructed halls. An elf from Moltani's homeland might have thought it all pretentious, though today it seemed only wonderful. Moltani seeped out into Quosumik's leaves and saw it all. Eladamri stepped beneath a gate of twinning vines and out into the main courtyard. To his right hand walked Takara. Her eyes were hard beneath her shock of red hair. To his left hand strode Lyn Sivi, gripping the Toten Vac at her waist. All around them marched tattooed warriors. They walked with him as though they were his bodyguards. Their bright-dyed hair made savage gardens around Eladamri. He progressed up the winding way toward the high court. The doors of the high hall swung wide. More guards. King Fedisul's elite stood aside to let the visitors through. Moltani withdrew from the leaves, slid into the living thatch on the roof of the grand palace, and peered down. The high court within was opulent in shaped wood inset with gold and silver. At its far end, atop a red rug and backed by a wall of glass, stood a huge black throne. There sat King Fedisuul, ancient but powerful. The chief had white hair that spiked within his crown. His limbs were thin and long, with the same sinewy strength of tree roots. Across one gnarled knuckle he wore a ring of Staprian nobility. King Fedisuul gazed, patiently amused at the man who had been called the Seed of Freyalise. Eladamri entered the throne room. Kara and Lyn Civi accompanied him, as did a score of steel leaf warriors. The rest kept the throng back behind a wall of pikes. Eladamri approached the king's dais. He motioned for Takara and Lyn Civi to remain behind. They complied, in their own turn holding back their elf escorts. Alone, Eladamri strode to a dense rug of red and blue before the throne. He knelt there, in front of Fedisuul. "I have come to serve you, Majesty." A querulous look filled the face of the Staprian king. "From all I have heard, thought you would expect me to bow to you." Eladamri raised his eyes and stared levelly at the ruler. "I expect nothing of any of you, except that you fight when the fiends fall from the sky." Smiling ironically, the ancient elf sighed. "Ah, yes, the prophecies." "They're not prophecies, they're only reports. I'm not a prophet, only a man who has seen the armies that are coming. In my former world, I united 3 tribes and led them in revolt against these Phyrexian killers. Here, I do not wish to lead anyone, only to provide what help I may against a common foe." "Really?" King responded. "And what sort of help could you be?" "I can tell you how they'll fight. I can tell you that only warriors must remain above. The rest must abandon this palace. It and all the great structures in the canopy will be attacked first." Tani was impressed. Perhaps Eladamri was not as pure as the elves dreamed him to be, but he was honest and bold. "Abandon the palace?" echoed the king incredulously. "All go below." "Yes, I'll stay here with your warriors, but you and the others must go below to survive," Eladamri responded. King Fedisuul nodded once last. Then he stood. With a simple gesture, he sent his own guard from beside his chair to lay hold of Eladamri. Simultaneously, guards seized Lyn Civi and Takara. The throng behind the high court fell to a shocked silence. Into that hush, the king spoke. "It is a black hour for our world, yes, Eladamri. But blacker still when a man who has a sliver of foreknowledge uses it to rise to the top of a nation. To use a piece of gossip to become a false prophet. I have never claimed to be a prophet," objected Eladamri as he struggled against his captors. "Perhaps not a prophet, but a war profiteer," snapped the chief. "You are not the Seed of Freyalise. It's been said of you." "I dispute none of this," Eladamri pleaded. "I'm a warrior, pure and simple. I've been dreamed by these people into something I am not." Suddenly, Multani understood. The people of Llanowar needed a leader, and King Fedisuul, for all his age and wisdom, would not be sufficient to the task. Gaia had found a man, a sufficient man, and was dreaming him into divinity. "We are done dreaming," the king insisted. "We are done listening to idle foolery. We will not abandon our palace in the sky. The kingdom of hell is at hand, you say. We will not follow you." Multani saw it before anyone else. He saw it in the multitudinous vision of the living thatch. Portals opened above Llanowar. Thousands of small portals. Through them dropped tens of thousands of plague bombs. Sliding down from the thatch into the great branch in one corner of the high court, Multani took form. Leafy brows and bristly lips, twiggy hair and spore-filled eyes, Multani charged into the midst of the assemblage.
"I, Multani of Yavimaya, listen to this man. Even now, portals open overhead. Fiends are falling from the skies."
"Gods! Arrest this apparition!" the chief shouted, finger jutting out toward Multani. "Take them to the stockade!" "We must go below!" Eladamri and Multani chorused. Guards dragged at them. Something tore through the thatch above. Glimpsed in a flurry of straw, it seemed a small meteor. Though it was a constructed thing, a spherical machine. The plague bomb smashed down, cracked the hardwood floor as though it were an eggshell. The bomb struck King Fedisuul, slaying him instantly. It hit the far wall and bashed its way into the king's chambers. A moment of silent terror followed. Then, from the hole in the wall, white clouds of plague spores spewed outward. "Down to the roots! Down from the crown! We must go below!"
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.